Okay, good morning. Welcome back to part two. I mean, it's more than part two, but it kind of bled in from last week to this week. Um, so last week I rebuilt the mid-body gasket, or rebuilt the mid-body part of the carburetor, replaced the seals in it, and then I tried to adjust it. I went out and got the bike hot, and then came back. But every adjustment I was trying to make, it didn't seem to make the right adjustment. I guess you could say it still was just kind of doing the same thing. But after the bike was just getting warmed up enough, or getting hot enough, then it was just getting worse and worse, to the point that it refused to start. So I was talking with a friend and just kind of let him know what all I was doing, what I was encountering. So he's been familiar that he knows that I rebuilt the engine on it, and he's seen the stages, watched the stages of me building it. So he asked me, well, you go through and check your valves again, check your valve clearances. So, backstory on the head. I wish I would have recorded a lot of the engine build and whatnot, because it was pretty neat. So the piston had broke, and it got turned sideways in the cylinder, and then one of the intake valves had actually got bent, and it cracked one of the guides. So I got a new guide. I punched out the old one, got the new one pressed in, got a new valve for it, cleaned up all the old valves, and I had gotten new springs and clips for all the valves. So after I built I got the engine assembled and everything, I went through and adjusted the valves, but I haven't adjusted the valves since. So while it was hot, I checked the valve clearance, and it didn't seem terrible, but the book recommends that you check the valve clearance when the engine's cold. So that's why it kind of bled into this week, is I let the engine cool off, but it was hot during the week and whatnot. Just from work, I was tired, so here it is, Saturday morning, and bike's cooled off enough, and a chicken is in here making a bunch of noise. What are you doing? Go. Sorry about that. The life of owning chickens. Sorry about that. So, try to get the chicken out of here. It was just like, nope, I don't want to go. So I had to chase her out. Back to what I was saying. So the engine's cooled off now. It's been sitting all week, so I hope it's cooled off by now. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna check the valves. I've already got the engine rotation in position for top dead center to check the valves. I'll go through. I'll show you on my bike where all the marks are at, to make sure that it's in top dead center, so that you can check the valves correctly. So without further ado, let's get into this, and hopefully the chickens won't be making too much noise and bothering you. So here we go. Alright, so I already have the engine, the fuel tank and everything, valve cover, all that pulled off. I got the spark plug pulled out, so it wouldn't be giving me no compression resistance on the front end, the marks. So on here, might be a little hard to see, but there's a little dot right here, and then there's another one right there, right there, and right there. So what you want is these two marks to be even with the top of the cylinder head. So, and then you come down here, a little hard to see, but there's a mark right there on the stator assembly. So, and then you got your mark right there. So that's where you want your middle slash to be at. So you turn the crankshaft to where that slash is at, and then you check for these marks. You check for these marks up here. So you'll have to rotate it a few times to get it in that right position, but it will rotate into that position that you need to check. So let's go ahead and get our feeler gauges, and we will check our adjustments. Alright, so let's check these. So the intake valve clearance is 0.10 to 0.15 millimeters thick. So I am going to start with my 0.10 millimeters, because it does read in inches also, so I have to remind myself to check the millimeters. So on this style bike, the 03 to 05s, I'm not sure about the other ones, but I have 3 intake valves and 2 exhaust valves. So we're going to check this first one. That's pretty loose. That's pretty loose. And that's pretty loose. It's okay. So let's move up to the next one. So we have the 0.13 millimeters. So let's check it with the 0.13. So that still seems loose, which it's okay. We're still got a little room. So let's move to our 0.15. So the 0.15 is the maximum. It's a little looser than I would like it to be, so let's check our exhaust, see where we're at on our exhaust valves right now. So our exhaust valve clearance is 0.20 to 0.25 millimeters. So on our exhaust valves, we only have 2 exhaust valves. tip of the peeler gauge catches, but it's, I don't know if it's getting a little buggered up or what. Alright, let's go with the point. 0.23 millimeter. Feels fairly snug. And that does too. Alright, let's see if I can fit a 0.25 millimeter in there at all. I don't know if I will. Yes, that fits. And that one feels pretty tight. So, I mean, that left side exhaust valve, it feels good. I do believe I will need to adjust the shims in the intake one, or the intake cylinders, or intake valves. Blah, I can't think this morning. So let's get this intake cam pulled off, and then we'll check the well, hang on a second. Let me see something. Just out of curiosity, I want to see what does fit snug on the intake. So my next one up is a 0.18 millimeter. See, and that's not tight enough. That's not tight enough. Okay. I gotta get a pen and write this down. I gotta write the numbers down. So give me a minute. Alright, so I went ahead and I recorded each one of the measurements of the valves. I wrote it down on a towel over here, and I'll show you why I wrote it down on a towel. But for right now, we're gonna get this timing chain off and get the cams off so that we can get our thickness pads pulled out and change the sizes on them. So let's get to it. So we gotta loosen up the chain first. So this is our chain adjuster. Skinnier screwdriver. So there's a little screw inside of here that you turn, and you turn it until it kind of, you feel a little click and it clicks into place to where it kind of locks itself. So then our chain is loose. So what I'm going to do right now, I am going to secure this chain with a piece of baling wire. Up to the handlebar, so when I start pulling things apart, the chain doesn't fall down inside of the crankcase. So when pulling this, you want to be careful. There's a little ring that sits in there. You don't want to lose that. So when it sits, in there, right in here. So that is our intake cam cover. Sounds like my neighbor's doing some work. Sparkle farts.
Unsparkle farts? With your booger brains.
Alright, so on this side it's got a little clip too.
What are all these cables that you have going on here?
These cables.
Yeah, all that.
This?
Oh, I remember why you do that now.
Yes.
Okay, I remember. You got an owie on your arm.
Hmm?
You got an owie on your arm.
Oh.
Did your
So
girlfriend
there's
get you?
your intake valve or camshaft right there. So it's got 3 lobes for the 3 valves. So I'm going to see with the chain being here, the chain's not going to fall down. So we got our exhaust camshaft right here. So then with the magnet, pull out one of the exhaust buckets.
It's science.
So and inside the exhaust bucket, you got a pad. So you want to make sure you keep track of these, of where they came from. Second pad. The second bucket.
I was gonna say hold it down a little further. It was right at the top of the screen.
Oh.
So I didn't know if when you're editing, if you're like, why didn't you show it? Because you didn't either. There you go.
So our intake bucket. Their intake pad.
I thought they were called shims.
Well, in the book they're called pads. I would usually call them shims too, but
Tomato, potato, potato.
I guess, yeah.
I was gonna ask, because this was 2005. Have they changed the terminology?
No,
No, okay.
doubt it.
Okay. Hello, chicken. What do you do today? How you do? Hello. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Hi.
Alright, let me show you what I got going on over here.
Here we go.
Alright, so over here on a piece of towel, I got it all wrote down. I got all the buckets around, and I got the shims from each valve in the position that I pulled them off from. So, and then I got my exhaust and I got my intake cam right here. So, and then I wrote down what size feeler gauge I was able to get in there. So, for right now, with my intake ones, I'm gonna probably just go one size bigger on the shim, the pad, whatever you want to call it, and then probably the same thing on the exhaust ones.
It's really smart.
I don't know if I can see it. It's very hard to see on this one. I'll find one that I can get a number. I can read a number off of, and then I'll show you. But also, it's important too that you get the right shim kit for your bike. And I will show you an example of that here pretty soon, because I had gotten a kit for Keaton's 250. So I have one kit for my 450, I have one kit for 250. So I'll show you the difference between the two. So if you need to do this, you need to make sure you get the right kit for your bike. So hang tight, and I will be back in a second. Okay, so let me show you real quick the differences. So this one is a 450 shim, and this one is a 250 shim. So there is a bit of a difference. So, and then I have these kits, and I mean, I just wrote on there the 450 and then the 450 and then the 250. So I know I wouldn't get them mixed up, even though, I mean, it's to me right now it's pretty simple that it's right. So these kits, they come, and you can see they've got all the size, you know, they have the sizes labeled on there. But I wanted to see if I can get this captured so I could show you guys. Yeah, there you go. So each one of these in this kit, they come where they're stamped, they're marked on there of what they are. So, yeah, it's a big shim. I don't know if I'd ever have to use that one. So, but that's the, and I just threw that in the wrong case. Nice. So, make sure I get the right case out. So, keep doing that. Alright, so I just wanted to go back through the book here. So, pad increments are in 0.05 increments. So, a number 120 is about 1.20 millimeters thick. So I went through, I measured all these. A couple of them I actually had to use my micrometer and measure it. So we have what I pulled out was a 1.8, 1.8, 1.87, 1.7, and a 1.8. So, and then what I was able to fit in there was a 0.18 millimeter and so forth. So this one, it's really close. So I might just try to go one shim size bigger on the 3 intakes. I'll go, let's see, 28 and the max is 25. So I might try to go with 2 on that one. But this one here, I'll probably just keep the same. There, I'll try to go down 1, just to see. So, keep all my buckets so I know which one goes to which. So I can try to keep it all the same. So let's get these shims in, and then we'll recheck our clearances again. So hang tight. Alright, so I installed the new shims in there, and then I torqued down the camshaft caps. So they torqued down to 10 newton meters. So I went ahead and torqued it down, and now I'm gonna recheck it. Recheck my tolerances. Make sure that they are still within spec. So we'll start with this intake. I'm using a 0.10. That 0.10 fits in there kind of loosely. So let's bump it up to a 0.13 millimeters. That fits more snug. Let's see if we can get a 0.15 in there. So my 0.15 is not wanting to really go in there without bending the feeler gauge. So I think that one will be alright. So let's move on to the second intake. Second intake right here. Sorry, just trying to get it to where I can see, and you can see too. I need my flashlight. It's right there.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to hold the flashlight?
No, it's fine. So that 0.10 fits in there fairly easily. Let's get our .13. So our .13 is wanting to, it's kind of snagging in there.
What does it mean when it snags?
Well, it's just tight to go in, so my .10 fit in there good, but my .13 is not wanting to, so maybe it's, you know, .12, .11 millimeter tolerance, so let's check this third one. So I mean that fits in there fairly decently.
Because I can see it not giving a lot of resistance. Crunch, and those are my knees.
.13. This is thing. It's just wanting to bend it going in, so I think that would be alright. So our exhaust.
And that's the one that has 3, right?
The intake has 3.
The intake has 3. Oh, okay.
So exhaust is .20 to .25. So that one is fairly decently.
And when you're measuring it, are you measuring it on this thing right
in
there?
Between
in
this
between.
bucket and this.
But it is, you're shooting
lobe.
for this.
Well, it's going in between.
Oh, because it's the same width.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Because you see, when the engine rotates and the camshaft rotates, this egg-shaped part right here,
Yeah.
it'll rotate down, and it's this piece right here that pushes the valve open.
Okay.
So right here, you know, the valve's all the way closed. So then we measure right there.
That makes so much sense now.
So
That's neat. That's really cool.
.23.
So when it's closed, that's when you said it's building up all that pressure that it needs to fire.
Yep. So
that's the most important part of it.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Builds compression.
So you see how you had to explain it to me, and then I took about 35 minutes to think about it and ponder it, and now once I see it, I get it.
Yeah.
That's why when you watch a TV show, I can only watch 1 to 2 episodes at a time, because that's what it takes for my brain to process.
I know. Alright. They all feel good. So, and then, hang on a second. I'm going to go over something with you real quick, so hang tight. Alright, so something I did forget to mention that I'm going to mention now, but I had checked it already, was after you get it back together, you want to make sure that your timing marks are all back right. So, see, I got that timing mark right, and then your timing marks for up here. So I got this one, and then the ones for down there and up here again.
That's why it took you so long to put it back together.
So you got to make sure that, you know, because once you take the chain and everything off, you know, it can move a little bit, and then if you catch it too late, it'll throw everything way out of whack, and you got to start over.
Is that chain too loose?
Well, I haven't applied the chain tensioner yet.
Oh, okay.
So right now I'll show you. So then I'm gonna tighten up the chain again.
That is so cool. Oh, that's neat.
So now the chain is tight.
So what tightens that?
There's a little spring inside of here. So you turn the screw, or you turn the screw to where it backs off. There's a little rod that pushes against the chain. And then to loosen it up, you back it off and it pulls it back, so then the chain gets loose. But then when you tighten it, you screw it back and turn it back down and pushes the pressure against the chain.
You're a wizard.
So.
That was so cool.
Alright, let's get it back together and see what she does. Hi. Alright, so we got the bike put back together, so I'm gonna fire it up now and see how she does. Okay, well, I gotta start the bike.
No, you don't. You have to do nothing. Is your choke out?
Yeah, choke's out.
Is your fuel on?
Yes.
Did you do it too soon?
I don't think so.
Come over here. Ooh, it's thick. You want me to watch the RPM for you?
No, I'm honestly not even going to go off of that anymore. So I think it's accurate. Ouch! That really hurt.
Like vibrating. Does that have any? That's your brake, right? Is it loose? Just watch it as it like. That was as long as it ran on its own.
The choke was still on. So.
Oh.
Good Lord. Leg hurts.
I'm smacking it.
Yes. I think I'm just gonna take it in and have a professional do it. I'm at a loss. Yeah. I'm gonna be feeling that later today.
So you're taking it in Tuesday?
Yep, I'm gonna take it in Tuesday and just see what they can do. I hope they're not gonna be like, oh, just drop it off, we'll get to it in 2-3 weeks and charge you about $4,500 to fix it. And I hope it doesn't turn into that. If they do me right, and they actually just help me do it,
Okay.
show me how to do it, and I will buy the next bike
Okay.
as soon as we get blades. But if they're gonna give me this big old runaround, I'll drop it off, and then we'll get to it in a couple weeks when it's your turn, and blah blah blah. Okay, dude, and I'm gonna go somewhere else and buy my next bike. You're not gonna fix this. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'll let you know as soon as I find something out. I don't want to make a promise again and drag you on for another 4 weeks or so. So, I think this is going to be it for right now. I'll let you know something as soon as I figure something out. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.